What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of engine bay cleaning on the GTR. I'm going to give you guys a few little tricks, little things that I've learned. I haven't detailed an engine bay in a long time, actually. I've owned the GTR for 3 years now and haven't really seriously detailed the engine bay, but I'm going to give it a go today. Like I said, it's been a while though, but hopefully you'll learn a thing or two, and hopefully we'll get this thing a little bit clean. We might not finish it all today. I don't have all the proper detailing products to like refinish some of the plastic pieces and to really give it that glossy new plastic look, but we're gonna try to get as much of the engine bay clean as we can and just see what we can do. It may look like on video that it's kind of clean in the engine bay, but there's a lot of little dirty crevices back here, a lot of dirt down here. We're not gonna be able to get all this out. It's just never gonna happen. But we're gonna clean it up as much as we can. And first, we're gonna start with kind of a, not a wet clean, but a dry clean. We're gonna hook the vacuum up. Hey, Captain, Maria, come on, out of the road. We got everybody out here except Megan right now. Mason's over here playing his pet simulator from Roblox, I think is what it's called. Yep, but let's get this started. So step one, we're gonna take out this battery, because, well, I guess we don't really have to take out the battery first because we're going to do the dry clean first, but we're going to go ahead and take out the battery anyway to give us a little more extra room. But you want to take the battery out for whenever we actually do start spraying water in here. You don't want to get any water on the battery or any of the other electrical things. And if you do get a little bit on some electrical pieces, it'll be okay because the battery will be out, and hopefully nothing will short out or anything like that. Now with the battery already out of our way, we're going to go ahead and start cleaning it without water first. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our vacuum, and we're just gonna vacuum it out. We're gonna vacuum it out, and we're gonna use this brush, and I have some detailing brushes to just kind of get any little loose dirt out of the way. Like some of the dirt on the radiator and the radiator fan right here is just loose dirt that can kind of be vacuumed away and brushed away. We're gonna get as much out as we can and vacuum it all up as we go, and then we'll move on to cleaning it with water. Now, where a big dust broom type little duster thing would work for some spots, you're gonna want a small detailing brush for certain spots, because that thing just can't fit in there. Like right here, you can really get in there and clean some of the loose dirt off with a detailing brush and vacuum it up. That way, before we get it all wet, we're getting a lot of the excess dirt off so that it's not gonna be so dirty when we go to put water on everything. See right there, just that little bit of brushing already made that pretty dirty. Now that we have kind of dusted off the loose dirt, we're gonna move on to getting the engine bay a little bit wet. So there's lots of things in here you obviously don't want to get wet. The battery we've already removed, and there's lots of little electrical pieces that shouldn't get too soaking wet. It's all right if they get a little bit wet, but we're gonna cover some stuff, and that leads me to some extra supplies you might want. A couple trash bags. We're gonna put a trash bag actually over the whole engine itself, and then we have some smaller grocery bags that we're gonna use for some smaller pieces to kind of cover those up. And what we're gonna be using for the most part to clean is this engine cleaner and degreaser. You can really use whatever you want. There's lots of different brands out there for this stuff. This is just what they had at O'Reilly's when I went and picked it up. You could also use like a little bit of a mixture of dish cleaning soap and water, mostly water. And then you're also gonna want a bottle of water. I'll show you what you're gonna use that for in just a little bit. So one thing we could also get out of the way would be the strut bar, and we might take some of that out of the way in a minute, but first let's go ahead and slip this trash bag over the motor itself. Now with the trash bag on, we're gonna cover some of the smaller pieces like the fuse box and the boost controller, just to be sure. You might not even really need to, but better be safe than sorry. Now that we have most of the essential electronics covered up and the engine itself, that way we don't want to get any water down in like the spark plug wells or anything like that. We don't want to get in the fuse box, obviously, for obvious reasons. The mass airflow sensors, and you want to cover up your intakes if you have any kind of exposed intakes like I do. And now we're going to move on to cleaning it. We're going to start up here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this liner so that we can access all the paint, and then we'll get started. With the liner in my car, it's pretty simple. You just pop them out. They're just little plastic pieces. Kind of be careful not to break them. I think that's how it is on most cars. Now with the headliner off, we can move on to actually getting this engine bay a little bit wet. You got everything covered, you're good to go. I would recommend using a normal hose or something kind of light. Don't use a pressure washer for the engine bay, just because there are little electronic pieces that, you know, the high pressure water could blow away your bags or something. So I would just use a regular hose. So what we're gonna do first is just kind of give it a nice, easy spray down. We're not gonna have it on any kind of hard setting. Just gonna spray it down. And right there, you can already see a lot of gunk falling off of it just with that. Now we're going to take your engine degreaser of choice and just go at it. Get it nice and soaked. And we're gonna let that sit for a minute. Now that we've let that engine degreaser soak on there for a minute or two, we're gonna go ahead and do one spray and get that off. Now that we have that one coat of engine degreaser rinsed off, we're gonna go ahead and spray another on there. Get it in there nice and deep like. I hope this works out. I'm no expert at this. If you guys are following me, you probably aren't very smart, but I think we should be fine. If you want to see a legitimate YouTuber clean a engine bay, go watch Chris Fix, I think is his name. I watched his video a couple years ago, whenever it came out. I don't really remember, but he does a really good job of cleaning everything, and even engine bays especially. But now that we have that engine degreaser on there, we're going to take our detailing brush and go at it. Try to get some of that grease off. Another supply I forgot to mention, obviously microfiber towels. I think that's kind of a given with any kind of car cleaning project you're doing. And I should really be going in some kind of pattern here, but I'm just kind of going at it. I should be following like from the bottom all the way around and in the center, just so I know where I've cleaned. But I'm not really following that now, am I? But basically you just have to repeat all of this cleaning for the whole bottom part of the hood of the car. And then we'll move on to our microfiber towel. This thing is so dirty, before we even get to the microfiber cloth, we're gonna go ahead and give it another rinse. And some more degreaser. Now that we've gotten a lot of the loose dirt off with the cloth, with the brush, we're gonna use a microfiber cloth and just get in there and really get it clean. Get as much of that grime off as we can with this cloth. I like to use a lighter color just so I can see how much dirt we're really getting off. Yellow preferably. You can already see on the left side is a lot cleaner. I haven't done the microfiber cloth on the right side, but already the left side looks so much better than it did before. The bottom of the hood is pretty much finished. Nice and clean, way cleaner than it's ever been. Looks amazing compared to how it has the last 3 years. But what we do have is a lot of excess water building up on our trash bag. So we're just gonna wanna kind of get some of that water out of the way because we're not ready to take the trash bag off yet. We're gonna keep it on there, but we don't want too much water building up on here. So we're gonna get it off to the side that doesn't really have too much down there. It's kind of the exhaust side of everything. Just kind of let some of the water drain down and out that way. Next up, we're gonna work on detailing the bottom painted areas. We're gonna hit up this back spot right here. I'm really looking forward to that. There's lots of grime built up back behind there, and we're gonna get as much off as we can in here. We're gonna use our brushes to get some of the hard to reach spots, hopefully like some of that down in there. We're not gonna be able to get everything. It's just gonna be impossible with how much is going on in this engine bay. If it was a nice wire tuck, maybe we could get a lot more. We're gonna clean up as much as we can though, using our brushes. Here's another one that I have. This one will be able to get down in there real good, and we will see how that turns out. Now, at least with my car, for some of these spots, I don't want to be spraying quite as much like I was on the bottom of the hood. So what a trick that I'm going to use is a water bottle that I punched a small hole in the cap so that I can kind of just squirt it out like that. So we're going to be able to use that to kind of get in some of the hard to reach spots, or the spots that are a little bit more sensitive, I guess, and just kind of spray it in there. Get it nice and wet, and then we're gonna spray some degreaser on there. So now we're gonna get some degreaser back here. Get a decent amount sprayed because there's a decent amount of dirt back here. And now we're gonna use this blue brush to get behind here. Start cleaning up those hard to reach areas. Just keep on spraying as much degreaser as you need. and getting behind all the little cracks. The more time you spend, the better it's going to look in the end. And I probably am not going to spend that much time on this, to be honest. It's after work and it'll be getting dark soon, so we got to get to it. But it's going to look a lot better than it did. Already starting to look really nice and clean back there. You're going to use this whole process. I would start at the back and just work your way in a circle all the way around the car. We're going to start working our way around now and just get as much as we can, and I'll show you guys the finished product. So far this has been quite the process. I've spent already probably 2 or 3 hours on this. I should have done this on a Saturday because I'm going to run out of daylight here, but let me show you where we're at right now. I hope you guys can already see the difference on video. It's already looking a whole lot better. The bottom of the hood looks great. A lot of this area back here is looking really clean. I started and went around this way. I cleaned some of this little area down in here. It's looking a lot more clean. Right here, the little battery tray, I should really get some kind of metal tray for that to sit on. It was a little bit rusted if you had seen one of my videos before. I sanded it down and just kind of did some touch-up paint over it. And I'm not really too worried about cleaning that too well right now, just because you're not gonna be able to see that whatsoever. And that's a lot of gunk to do right here on this Thursday afternoon. But I cleaned this little area, haven't touched this. This is something you're gonna wanna touch up with some like polish or something if you have like a cooling panel type thing right here. This one is really not that great. It's kind of old. It probably needs to be fixed or replaced. I should really buy a garage defend cooling panel to go there. And also clean this, went all the way up here, and I'm kind of working up in this area right now. I still have some more to do. There's also this right here, if you're noticing this. This is actually leftover green halo effects or plasti dip from when I had the whole car green, and I really need to spend a lot of time getting that off because that's more than just a quick over with degreaser and a microfiber cloth. It's going to take a little bit of scrubbing, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Right now I'm just worried about mainly getting all the white paint in here cleaned up. I started using some degreaser here on the radiator, and I'm going to go through and hit some degreaser with the brush on some of these hoses and some of these other little pieces. The brake master cylinder, I was able to go ahead and hit a little bit and touch that up nicely. And it's just nice to kind of clean up some of the colors you have in here too, as you're going over like these caps for the brake master cylinder. And I haven't got that cap back there yet. But just, you know, kind of touching up stuff like this, like I'm going to try to bring some color back out of those. But right now, it is dinner time, so I'm going to run inside and grab some food, and then we'll be right back out here starting this again. Look how crazy the sun looks right now. Back outside, the sun has actually looked like this just about all day. There's lots of smoke from the fires out west, and there's some fires up in Canada as well, causing the smoke to come down this way. But I've done a little bit more touching up out here. It's looking pretty good. It's not 100% foolproof, obviously. I'd need a lot more time to do that. But I think we're gonna go ahead and take off the bags now, and we're gonna move on to hitting some of the more sensitive areas. Now that we're on the more sensitive areas, we're not even gonna use the bottle of water. We're just gonna spray the area down, hit it with the brush, and then we are going to use a new microfiber towel and wipe down those areas instead of using the water to rinse the dirt away. So now we will carefully remove the bags. If you took a break in between, kind of like whenever I was eating, they're pretty dry already, so there's really not too much to worry about. But if you still have a puddle, you kind of got to be careful. There's a little bit of water still in there, but not much. And these small ones aren't really barely gonna have any water. But you can see that they really protected our sensitive areas, and we should be good to go come time to crank it up. So now you're going to take your detail brush and your degreaser and hit some of those little bit more sensitive areas. No water this time. And just start getting some of that dirt off of there. And then you use your microfiber towel to wipe it off instead of using water to rinse all the dirt and grime off. And you'll take that and you'll do that for all your little spots, all your little rubber pieces, your wiring harness, and any little rubber piece that you have. You can take that and some of these little sensors and stuff, the fuse box, we'll do it on all the caps for all the reservoirs, and anything where we see a little bit of dirt that's a little bit more sensitive, where we don't want to put water.
I don't want to eat chicken. I can't stop.
After you've hit up some of these plastic pieces, some of these trim pieces with the degreaser and the brush and your microfiber towels, another thing you can do is if you have something like this, like the intake plenum, it would be good to hit that with a wire brush. And I thought I had some left over from Japan in my toolbox, but I'm not seeing them. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of a brush on this right here just to try to get a little bit off of it. But definitely, if you can, grab a wire brush for something like this. Things are looking real nice under here. I've pretty much hit everything I'm going to tonight. There's still some little cracks I could get, but I really need some smaller little like pipe cleaning brushes and stuff to get down in there real good. But everything looks a heck of a lot better than it did. So the next step we're gonna go to is using some type of spray on wax. I have like a Magella's quick detailer that I'm going to spray on, and then we're gonna use another clean microfiber towel and wipe it down. She is looking real good under the hood, mostly finished up. I sprayed the spray on wax, wiped it down with a microfiber towel on all of the painted surfaces. The valve covers themselves, I also did the same. That's the only thing I cleaned that with. If you have nicely painted valve covers and timing covers and all that, I would only probably use some spray on wax and just a microfiber towel, because you don't want to scratch your paint with anything else or put any kind of degreaser on there. But it looks worlds better than it did. Right now, I'm gonna let it air dry a little bit before I put the battery back in and try to start it up. And I'm also gonna take one more microfiber towel and kind of wipe down any little wet spots I see. But for the most part, I think everything's pretty dry. I'm just gonna let some of these sensors that might have come in contact with water have a little bit of time to dry out before I hook that battery back up. Been letting it air dry for a little while, pushed it into the garage since it's getting dark, and there's really not enough light here anyway. But I think I'm gonna let it air dry maybe the rest of the night. I'm gonna make sure I take a towel to it a little bit, just on the tray where the battery's at, there's a little bit of water. And then tomorrow, I'm going to put the liner back in and maybe clean that up tomorrow too, vacuum it, hit it with some carpet cleaner. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it out and throw the battery back in here. But for tonight, it's getting late, so I'm getting off here. But we'll pick this up right now. All right, it's actually a couple days later. As always, I've kind of been procrastinating on finishing the video. Been a little bit busy, but the car did start up perfectly fine. I drove it to work on the next morning, on Friday morning, and no problems whatsoever. I still actually haven't cleaned the liner, but I'm gonna just worry about that another time. Everything looks really nice and clean under here now, and I feel pretty satisfied with the job that we did. Not a professional job at any means, but it did turn out nice for my first engine bay detail in a while. Today we've been pretty lazy, and I washed the Jeep. That's been about my only accomplishment of the day so far, but it needed it. We hadn't washed the Jeep in probably 2 months or so, but now it's looking real nice and shiny. The dog's been happy to hang out here all day in the morning. Crazy Captain. They've been pretty crazy recently. Check out this video. They're not supposed to get on the couch. They're not allowed to be on the couch, and they know that. They know they're not supposed to be, but they do it anyway. So I bought a security camera with a gift card I had, and I've been watching the dogs while we haven't been home, so check this out. Maria is such a little stinker. Jumping up on that couch, taunting us, trying to play with Captain obviously, but hilarious. It made me a little triggered at the time of the event when it happened, but I just had to laugh about it because the way she jumped up on there was hilarious. And it has two-way audio. I can communicate with them if I push a button on my phone, but I have to have good cell phone service for it to work at all. So I don't always have the ability when I'm at work because our cell phone service sucks. But this video right here, I was able to yell at them through the camera to get off the couch, and they did right away, so that was pretty good. Captain's my boy. He's a big old goofball, but he's been learning lately a little bit better. He's not the one that gets on the couch first. It's always Maria now, but he'll follow sometimes. If you were at all triggered by my cleaning methods, please leave comments below of how mad you are, because last time I cleaned my car on video, everybody seemed so pissed at the way I did it. It is a fine method for me, but everybody else was kind of hating on it. So haters, please comment below. I'm happy to entertain your hate. I guess that's pretty much gonna do it for this video though. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of crappy how to clean your engine bay video. Like I said before, if you wanna see somebody professionally do it, go watch, I think his name is Chris Fix on YouTube. He has got an amazing tutorial for how to clean pretty much any part of your car, and his engine bay video is awesome. Do have some plans for some videos coming up. I also have a plan for a cars for sale in Japan video. Gonna be featuring some of the new arrivals at Garage Defend. Here's a few pictures of some of them right now that just came in. We have, I think, 3 R33 GTRs, one in the rare dark gray color, one in blue, one in white, and one in black. All really nice looking cars. And then we have a couple new Supras, a blue Supra RZ that by the time this video goes out, it actually might be sold. It's already pending. Really nice car. And a black SZ, which is the non-turbo model. This one is a 5-speed. And then we still have tons of stuff left that we haven't pushed in about a month or so. There's a orange Supra, a red Supra, tons of GTRs, R32s, and 34s. But I think I'm gonna do a video on that coming up soon. And hopefully you guys will be seeing Garage Defend in the future back in some videos, because I'm looking forward to hopefully going back to Japan. But on that note, I am going to end it. I will see you guys very soon in the next video. As always, thanks for watching.